Welcome, everyone, to Courageous Creative Conquerors. This is Jean Voice Dart. It's my belief that everyone has a gift of creative expression. We were born to express ourselves to stay healthy and happy. Whether you are planting a garden, writing a story, building a cabinet, sewing a scarf, or singing a song, what matters is expressing from the heart. And the creative and expressive arts are a healthy coping strategy that shifts us from trauma to triumph. So join me as we listen and learn key tips and techniques from our special guest and courageous creative conqueror. Our special guest today is Anne Simon, glass artist, courageous creative conqueror. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jean Voice Dart, and I'm just delighted to be here today with my special guest and friend, Anne Simon. And she's just such a joy to be with, such an enthusiastic artist. And I'll just let her introduce herself and share with you her journey in art as an expressive artist and her enthusiasm for what she does as a glass artist. Welcome, Anne. It's just a wonderful delight to have you here today.
I am so glad that I could join you today.
Me too. It's my honor to have you here. I would love for you to start out telling a little bit about who you are, where you grew up, and how important were the creative arts to you as a child? Did your mother and father encourage you as an artist? Were they artistic, or a grandmother or aunt or someone? Tell us a little bit about Anne growing up.
I was born in Africa, in Casablanca in Morocco. And my family moved a lot because my dad was working as a civil engineer in Africa. So we are originally from France, and we spent about 5 years in Africa, where I was born and my younger brother. My older brother was born in Paris, where my parents lived. After these 5 years, we went back to Paris, and my two brothers stayed at home while I went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, I learned to paint and to do arts and crafts, which my brothers didn't do. So we were a very musical family. We were listening to music, appreciating music, learning the piano and all these things, but visual arts wasn't the part of my family. I developed it more or less on my own.
Here's your mother, Jacqueline Roger, at age 13. She's dressed in bridal clothes for her communion. And here's your father, Olivier Simon. And here is a photo of you at age 7. So your parents stayed in Africa for 5 years. You were born in Africa. And then they returned to Paris and you learned about art. And did you stay in Paris?
After living in Paris, we moved to Yaoundé in Cameroon, which is at the Horn of Africa where it bends. And it was a very interesting time.
Why was it interesting?
Because it was so different. You see, I was used to 4 seasons, but they don't have 4 seasons in Africa. They have 2.
Oh.
They have a dry season and they have a rainy season. And it's always warm, which is very pleasant. But Christmas is not the same.
Yes, yes.
This is where I learned the value of having cold water in your fridge.
Yeah.
So,
it sounds like you had such an adventurous life, such a rich and colorful life growing up as a child. Did that affect you, all that moving around? Did that affect you emotionally or socially in any way?
In a way it did, because we were changing friends so many times. So we spent at least at the beginning of a move, we spend a lot of time alone. And being alone, you know, you have time to do and to draw and to do things. The practice never stopped, as a matter of fact, except when I went to high school and university, because I had to study and there was no time to do other things. But when I studied at University of Montreal, I moved from actually Munich, Germany, to I lived 15 years in Munich. I learned, spent part of my primary school, high school, and university in German in Munich.
I see.
And all these environments let me appreciate plants and in particular flowers.
Yes, because I've seen your beautiful glass work and often I see flowers.
I did. Even as a child, I was painting flowers from my parents' encyclopedia because that's what I had. They were always carrying it with them. So I had models, if you wanted to. And later I learned to take my own photographs, and I was painting from photographs, including this time I was doing that with pastel chalks, which is marvelous. It works like a chalk, but it's much softer, and you can easily work it and move the chalk with your finger. And afterwards, you have to spray it so that it doesn't have dust everywhere. But it makes beautiful artwork.
So you are multi-talented in the arts, but your primary love is glass art. And here's some of your glass art here. Beautiful. And I wanted you to maybe explain, because you told me before this started, the different types of glass work. Could you just share that with our listeners?
With pleasure. So at University of Montreal, I learned to do stained glass. And stained glass is called cold glass. So basically, you score the glass and then you split it in two. You have to grind it into shape because glass doesn't want to bend or be cut in curves. And then you put some copper foil on top of it, and you etch it and you solder it, and it makes beautiful pictures.
And is that something that you do, stained glass?
Now I only do it if somebody asks me specifically for a commission.
Okay. So what is it that you do primarily now?
Primarily, I do warm glass and mosaics in cold glass. So the warm glass is when you use a specific type of glass that spreads evenly when you heat it up. And you heat it up in the kiln. It has to go into a specific sequence of steps so that the glass doesn't break or explode. So you need a specialized kiln for that, and I have one in my basement.
You know, that's what I love about you, is you're just so fully invested in everything, invested in your art. Nothing deterred you from that. It seemed like you said since kindergarten that you have this love inside of you and you didn't stop. Tell us what we're looking at right here.
Now you're seeing what we call cabochons, or caps, which is the part of the pendant that would be, if you want to, the jewel. So I have used different types of glass that I put one on top of the other, and then I've heated them up. You see a whole picture that was made of different types of glass. The lower glass that is shiny is an iridescent glass, and then there is the sail is made of a glass that is mixed up in two colors. And I cut up little pieces to make the boat, to make and to make the flags. And then I heated it up and for 6 hours. And when it cooled down after another 10 to 12 hours, I could shape it in a real nice square because, you know, on the first heat, it never is a perfect shape like we like.
Mhm.
And then I heat it up a second time for another 6 hours, but not as hot, so that it would be really nice.
Oh, here. Oh, that's just so lovely. And look at this. There's a dog and another boat. And oh, that's just so. And the background with the dog, how did you do that? What is that?
Well, the background is actually transparent. So I used a special glass with stringers and little confettis. And the glass that I use for the dog is also patterned. So it gives a lot of patterns. If you put it in a window, you would see through, except
Oh,
for the dog.
yes. And so this is for, just to clarify for people that are watching, this is jewelry that you're making. Is that right? Am I understanding it?
The smaller parts, the pendants, and is jewelry. The bigger parts are actually art, if you want to.
Oh, yes. Okay. I mean, right here, these are these smaller pieces. Yes.
Those are jewelry.
Yes,
So
these are.
I have to glue well, something like to pass a chain through. So it's called a bail. I had to glue bails on them. But you see, on some of them, I put the glass on top, which is going to melt on the second heat, so that you have an overlay.
Okay. And so this wolf, how
Mhm.
big would you say that is? Or is it a coyote or a wolf?
I thought it was a wolf, so I
Yes.
agree with you. And I
Looks like a wolf to me. It's very
thought,
beautiful. And how small is that when you're working with these little tiny pieces?
actually, it's fairly big. So I would assume that it's about 7 by 7 inches.
Okay. So this is a larger piece.
Usually I sell jewelry on an art sale.
Hmm.
It's much more portable, and it doesn't break as easily. It's not as fragile as the other pieces.
Oh, and who is this friend, this
Yes,
four-legged friend here coming into the
yes.
picture?
He's Marshmallow. You're going to see pictures of him too.
Marshmallow?
Marshmallow, yes,
Oh,
Marshmallow.
oh, how wonderful. I have one of those too here at my house. Oh, and is that Marshmallow?
Well, this is an impression of Marshmallow when he's with me.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Oh, what fun. And and what is this that you're holding up right now here? Is this created in a different way?
No, it's similar in the sense that it is fused glass, and I have a pattern, or I draw a pattern, and then I score and cut the glass after I made the base, and I put it on top of the base, and I heat it for the second time.
Oh, it's just so lovely. I love hummingbirds.
Yeah, that's the symbol of joy. It's pure joy. You see
Uh-huh.
them flying, and they can fly backwards, forwards, sideways. They
Yes.
are wonderful. I have here a piece that is already framed.
Oh, how beautiful.
And that piece has been etched. So I made the base in these colors,
Hmm.
and there's a little layer of color on top of the black base. Then I had to score, or actually engrave the base with a pattern. And my daughter and some friends love these dragons.
Oh, that is just so beautiful. Can you hold it closer to the camera?
Yes.
Look at that. and the shine on that. Oh, it's just beautiful. And so do you draw out the dragon first?
It is a little bit difficult to do. So the
Mm-hmm.
easy thing to do is actually to stamp it. So I have a stamp that I put beside me, and I have a stamp that I put on top, but the stamp doesn't stay there very long. It is so hot that you have to spray it with water at all times. So
Oh,
yes, so it doesn't stay on very long.
goodness. Now, have you made a video of you doing these things? I think it would be very interesting.
Actually, I never did that, and the
Yes,
reason is
to
I
have
need
the
somebody
camera
to
going while you're actually firing and at the
do
hot and taking it out. And yeah, that would be very interesting.
else.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm
Oh my goodness.
that I just made actually a few days before. So this is the basis. The base is made of two layers of glass. One is colored blue, and the
Mhm.
other one is clear. And on top, I have put a decal of one color, and I have inlaid it with the decal of another color. So this
Oh,
could be a coaster. It's about 2.5 by 2.5.
oh, that's beautiful. Can you hold that closer to the camera as well, just so we can see that? Because there was a reflection. Oh, there you go. It
That's the whole
almost
color of
it
glass.
looks like pearl a little bit.
Yes, because it's golden. Now here is the piece or a similar piece after the firing. So
Oh,
it's different, just to show you. You see that
yes,
the corners are rounded. You see
yes.
the glass is not entirely level. And you see that the colors have changed a bit.
It's
Now,
amazing.
now the glass, the piece is burnt in, and it's not going to go away at all. So it's even pieces that are used for dishes can be put in the dishwasher. So it is very sturdy glass afterwards.
You know, I'm fascinated with the fact that you can do this right there in your home, in your kiln. You can do all this.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. We were chatting earlier about how my grandmother was a glass blower and she worked with the glass, but that's actually using the fire, right? I mean, that's
Right.
not really something you would sit in your living room and do or in your in your
It
basement.
wouldn't be possible because this type of glass needs to be held in a crucible at very high temperature.
Yes.
It has to stay there for hours and hours, if not days. So you have to do that in a special workshop.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, okay, we're going to flip back now to some of your other photos.
The middle picture has been put in a mold. These are different types of glass that I have put together because they are the favorite color of one of my best friends. And
Oh,
black, red, and white. So
hmm.
this piece is going to be a brooch for her. Her birthday is going to be March 12th.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I hope she likes it.
There are advantages of being your friend, I see.
Yes, very much so. You get kids. And those are
Lovely.
glass mosaics. So this is what I would recommend people to do on their own.
Mhm.
You can either buy glass and break it for yourself, or you can actually use porcelain dishes to do mosaics.
Oh,
You can buy, for example, glass or porcelain tiles, smash them so that you have different pieces, tessera, they're called, and then rearrange the colors in such a way that it makes a beautiful pattern.
but you tend to create your own designs. Is that correct?
I
You
make my
draw
own.
it out and uh-huh. Oh, and this is the one on the left, or my left, what I'm looking at here is the one that you showed us earlier.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Oh, it's
That's right.
lovely.
And you can see the different types of glass. For example, the one on the left is made with opalescent glass or opaque glass. The one in the middle is made with transparent glass or clear glass.
Mm.
And on the one on my right, I guess it's also your right, is made of opalescent black glass and a dichroic glass. Dichroic glass is a glass that has this little layer on top. And when you break it up into little pieces and put it in a mold, it forms in a certain way. It's a bit random, as you can tell. So you can see these different types of glasses.
Well, I feel like I could be listening to you and looking at all your artwork for another hour, but we do have a limited time. So I want to kind of just quickly go through and maybe move forward up to the bigger pieces up here.
Sounds great.
So these, like, this is very different. Can you talk about the one in the middle?
The one in the middle is a rose, and the rose itself was a piece that I bought. I could buy it. It was about $150 to buy at the shop. And it's about 16 inches in diameter. So I made the frame and I put some hooks and I cut the leaves and the background as well. So that's one of my, I would say, best pieces, but
it's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And the fish, can you talk about that?
So
that looks very different.
I took a base glass that was already with this wavy pattern, and then I cut some opaque glass in different colors. I had a model so that I knew what a fish would look like, and I assembled it on top. And because it is fish, I put some clear little bubbles that I had fused before.
That's beautiful. Yeah, very creative. You're so creative and talented. It's just a joy to look at all these, but I'm just going to quickly move forward here. And yeah, yes.
It's so much fun.
It's so sparkling and shining.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. That looks like Canada leaf there or something in the middle.
It very much is. It was made actually on Canada Day years ago, last year. And you see a white background, then the glass that was transparent with the stringers and confettis, and then the leaf as an overlay.
Okay, so we're going to have to stop. Is there anything else? Oh, the giraffes are just so cute. Is there anything else significant before that I should go up farther before we stop sharing?
No, I think everything is
I'll just quickly slide through. And can you tell me, while I'm sliding through, what project you're working on right now? Oh, look at the butterfly.
Isn't it beautiful? Well, right now I showed you, well, you see it on.
Look at the flowers.
Because I put pictures on my Instagram almost every day, not exactly every day. But so I'm working right now on a mosaic for a single iris. And I had made this pattern before. Sometimes I love a pattern so much that I do it twice.
Oh, oh, that just shows me how much you enjoy the journey. It's not so much about finishing it. It's just that you love doing it. And yeah.
See, one of these irises.
And this is what you're working on now, isn't it?
Yes, these are my latest pieces.
Yes. You know, this is so different. I just have to stop, and this leaf with the gold background here on the right, It's just so different. Can you talk about that for a moment?
So this monstera leaf you see a little bit further down, that was made of green glass. This glass has two sides. So I use this side for the monstera leaf, but it also has this side.
Oh,
So all of the art glass that I work with have this tendency of having two sides. But I needed to have a background that was outstanding because it's not a flower. It doesn't have the spectacular colors of a flower.
yes. That
And
was
that's what
very
I,
wise. Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's not just the motive which is attracting the eye, but the background has to be just right.
I think you have a keen eye and you're just tuning into not only the artwork and the message and the feeling from that, but also other people viewing it and what's pleasant to them. And you're very keen on that, I think. Yes. So you just finished this flower here with the petals, and then you're moving on to the iris right now. Is that what you're working on? So,
That's right.
mhm.
So right now, I have shown a piece that with everything filled in, and then I added the background, and the background I just finished. It's actually drying because it's glued.
So how long would you say, like that iris that we're looking at, that we just looked at, how much time is there from the beginning of drawing it out and then all the different layers and cutting and then firing and waiting until it's ready, all of it? How much time does the whole project take?
It takes about 2 days. It
2 days of how many hours?
about 3 hours a day because
Mhm.
there's a lot of dead time between the glue. Whenever you are gluing, then you have to wait uh, overnight. That's probably the best until the pieces are totally glued. Otherwise, they may come off.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has just been such a delight and so informative. I've learned a lot about being a glass artist, and it's been a lot of fun. Before we stop, I was wondering if you could please give advice for people out there who are obviously very talented and creative, and they have that fire within them. They want to do that.
Start with a good coloring crayons. You can have coloring books that are quite interesting right now, and then you can learn to layer one color on top of the other by gliding the pencil, the colored pencil, one line after the other, and then another color in the other side. And that is already a lot of experimenting, and it can be very nice.
Mm.
After a while, you're going to have a better feeling of the shapes of things and then start drawing your own shapes. And once you're able to fill the page with your own shapes, then try to do watercolors. Watercolors are a step up, or pastel colors, pastel chalks are a step up in the sense that you can blend them into one another, which you can't do with coloring pencil. So the blending allows you to do interesting shapes that you couldn't do with the coloring pencil. And whenever you have no more time, you just set this aside and you can come back. There is no problem.
That's very good advice. I love what you said about coloring, like in a coloring book, just coloring and learning about layers of colors. It's really good advice for working with color. Thank you. And do you have any tips for just any kind of artist, like a writer or a musician or a dramatic artist, just anyone who is passionate about the expressive arts but has a block, they have writer's block or musician's block. What is your advice to get through a block? how do you do that? Do you ever have an off day, and how do you keep going? Because you do have this perseverance that I really admire.
You know, I would go in nature. When things are not going well, go out, enjoy nature, look at the plants, look at the animals, and enjoy the colors that are there, and enjoy the shapes that are there. And if you express your love for this, it's going to be so much more easy to put it onto paper.
Oh, that's such good advice. I do that too. Just getting away from the everyday chores and stresses and getting out in nature. It's very inspirational. And I bet that marshmallow is an inspiration to you too, and helps you just shift gears and get back to joy if things get a little stressful.
Marvelous.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to share with me and our viewers today. It's been really wonderful getting to know you and finding out more about glass art. And thank you, everybody, for coming today.
Thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.